Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of the video and then I'll go back and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
This briefing will provide information about an officer-involved shooting involving members of the New York City Police Department. You will see relevant video footage and other available evidence that will allow you to gain a better understanding of the events that led up to the incident and what occurred during the incident based on the facts that we know at this time. New York state law and NYPD policy give police officers the authority to use reasonable force under appropriate circumstances. The department's Force Investigation Division conducts a thorough investigation when an officer discharges his or her firearm or in cases of any serious police-related injury or death. Sometimes these investigations can require as much as a year or longer to complete. Our understanding of the incident may change as additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. Investigators are typically required to interview multiple witnesses several times, review many hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. The images and information you are about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to take a person into custody or defend against an attack, the images can be graphic and sometimes difficult to watch. There may also be strong language recorded in the videos you are about to see. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers.
Drop the fucking gun! Macon and Howard, shots fired. Don't fucking touch that gun!
I am hit, just so you know.
Don't fucking move! Don't fucking die! You hear me? Don't fucking move! Don't move!
Cover me, Sergeant.
Don't you touch it! I'll blow your fucking head right off! Alright, one safety sergeant. Stop! No! Alright, I got one on there.
Drop the fucking gun!
Macon and Howard, shots fired.
Don't fucking touch that gun!
10-4, Macon and Howard, okay, we need additional case. Shots fired at the location, Macon and Howard. 10-4, survival out of
Ready?
Don't fucking move! Don't fucking move!
Die! You hear me?
Don't fucking move!
Don't move!
Cover me, Sarge.
Don't you touch it! I'll blow your fucking head right off! Alright, all right. One safety sergeant.
Stop!
No! Alright, I got one on there. Just give me a distance on it. Are you okay? Are you hit?
You good, Brian?
You're hit? Drop that gun!
Okay.
Macon and Howard, shots fired. Don't fucking move!
10-4, Macon and Howard, okay, we need additional case. Shots fired at the location, Macon and Howard. 10-4, just survival out of
Ready? Do not touch that fucking gun! Don't move! You fucking die! You hear me? Don't fucking move! Don't move!
Cover me, Sarge.
Don't you touch it! I'll blow your fucking head right off! Alright, Central, listen, one safety sergeant, Central. One safety sergeant.
Stop!
No! Alright, I got one on there.
In the coming weeks and months, the NYPD Force Investigation Division, in cooperation with the prosecutor having jurisdiction over this incident, will continue to investigate and analyze this incident as more interviews are conducted and forensic tests are completed. After the investigation is complete, The facts of the case will be presented to the First Deputy Commissioner's Use of Force Review Board, which will evaluate the evidence to determine if the use of force applied in this case was justified and within department guidelines.
All right. Drop that volume. Hit replay.
This briefing will provide in the videos you are about to see.
All right. We'll go back and talk about the bad guy's gun. So these officers are going to a shooting incident. So they're responding to a call where there's been gunfire. There's been some gunplay. There's a lot of stuff to go through. All right. So here we are in another unmarked vehicle. New York is a big fan of these unmarked vehicles and putting like 3 or 4 cops in one car. And it seems like the only places I see that are doing this, at least here in the U.S., is New York. I don't know if that's just something they've always done for the longest time or if it's like a newer thing they do, but it's always like, you know, it's not all the vehicles, but when it comes to these unmarked vehicles, sometimes you'll see like three officers in one car. So the guy in the back, he dismounts pretty quickly. And of course, the camera is not the greatest with it being nighttime and moving around, but the bad guy turns around. He's got his little ski mask on, and you can see the gun clearly in his hand right here. And he's turned, and he has taken a combative stance against this officer. Hit replay real quick. You can even see the muzzle flash. And I'll play this back a few more times. The gun right there, pointed right at the officer. Boom, muzzle flash. Officer runs, takes cover, and we can watch his shadow. So I want you to pay attention to the ground. As the officer breaks contact, pay attention to his arm in the shadow here. He hasn't even gotten his gun out yet. He gets it out just there. Let's back that up. Boom, gun comes out. He comes out from around the cover, goes in between these two vehicles, and you're going to see the suspect right in here very briefly. Boom, he's running. Shot at, moves around, fires, takes more rounds, moves, he fires, and boom, drops the guy in the street. So it's not clear exactly when this officer got shot. I would suspect that this was the moment that he got shot. Well, not exactly this exact moment, but his first interaction, I would suspect, is when he first got shot, when he turned around. So he got hit in the vest and he got hit in the ass. Or he could have been hit in the vest in this one and then maybe shot in the ass in that one. But I kind of tend to believe it was this first interaction here where he got shot. Now they're responding to a call where there's a guy with a gun and he gets out of the car with no gun in his hand and is approaching a dude they think is a suspected shooter. He has no gun in his hand. Mistake number one. If you're going up to a person that you believe has just been involved in a shooting and you're going to try to stop them or apprehend them and you don't have a gun in your hand, you're wrong. This officer should have had his gun out and pointed at the guy. And as soon as this dude spun around and produced that gun, lit his ass up. But for whatever reason, he didn't have his gun out. And so he takes rounds. And like I said, I think it's this moment that he took one in the back and took one in the butt. Finally gets his gun out here, re-engages. Who knows if he hit him or not. Engages right there, and then engages again. And then you can't see it because of this tag right here in the screen. If it weren't for that, you'd probably be able to see a little bit better, but you could see the bad guy fall down in the street. Boom, he falls down.
Drop the fucking gun!
Okay.
Don't fucking touch that gun! Macon and Howard, shot fired. Don't fucking touch that gun!
Jump for Macon and Howard, we need an additional case. Shot.
Don't fucking move! Don't fucking die! You hear me? Don't fucking move! Don't move! Cover me, Sergeant. Don't you touch it. I'll blow your fucking head right off.
I like this, Sergeant.
I got one up.
Come on. I try to pause it at the moment I want to pause it at, and nothing happens. All right, so just a bit of tidbit. I'm a real big fan of these type of control switches right here. If your vehicle, you got emergency lights and buttons and all that, traditional switch boxes can be extremely large and take up a lot of space. If you're in a marked unit and you got the big old console thing in the middle and the whole rack space to do that, sure, that's cool, that's fine. But cars are getting smaller, and a lot of vehicles, the gear selector here is in the middle, so you can't have that nice, luxurious rack in the middle with all these boxes and stuff. So a device like this, where you mount it somewhere, and then the main control box for it could be mounted somewhere else, that's a great piece of equipment to have. So, if you have the ability, if you run your own company, you're a volunteer firefighter, auxiliary police officer, whatever, and you got to buy your own shit, this kind of control box, so to speak, is the way to go, in my opinion. This can be virtually mounted anywhere, and all you got to do is just run your cord from it to the main control box, and you can have the main control box mounted in the trunk somewhere. Just run all the wires to it. And when you press one of these buttons, it changes color to let you know that you've activated it. So at daytime, you obviously won't be seeing the reflections of your lights off things as easily as you will at night. So at daytime, you press that, it changes the color and lets you know that you got a light turned on. And then of course the little rocker switch down there, the main box, wherever you mount it at, you can program that to do multiple different things on each switch that you rock it to. So that first switch that moves from left to right, you click it on position 1, you can program it to activate, switch 1, 2, and 3, or you can have it do switch 1 and 5, whatever. Program all those to your desire. So anyway, like I said, if you have to run your own stuff, then that's the way to go, in my opinion. And if you have a voice and can have some influence over what your agency or company purchases, then I would still recommend getting something similar to this. All right, so while officer in the back gets out, and then boom, gunfight happens. He gets his gun out. He shoots through his windshield. I'm sorry, not his windshield, through his driver door there. and then puts the car in park. He's doing a lot of stuff. He shoots, and he tries to manipulate. I can't talk. He shoots, bang, 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 and then he tries to manipulate things with the gun in his hand. He tries to get the gear selector in. You can see that trigger finger appearing to be curved. It looks almost like he's got his trigger finger inside the trigger guard there. That's a big no-no. So he could, if his finger is touching that trigger, he could very easily negligently discharge a round out of his gun. And if this thing was a few more degrees downwards, he could pump one into his leg. He transitioned it to his other hand, turns the vehicle off, gets out, and then gets in the fight. Which, of course, by this time, the officer who was shot in the ass has already put the guy down.
Drop the fucking gun!
Macon Howard.
Okay, we need additional case. Shot fired at the location. Macon Howard. 10-4. Survival.
Ready?
Don't fucking move!
Fucking move. Don't move.
Cover me, Sarge.
Don't you touch it. I'll blow your fucking head right off. All right, so all right. One safety, sir.
Stop.
No!
All right, I got one on there.
You good, Brian?
Your head?
No, going to the sergeant. They're pulling up, stopping. Officer gets out, makes the approach, fight. All right. He goes to activate his body camera, and we can see poor trigger finger discipline. He has not made any conscious decision to shoot right now, but yet his trigger finger is resting on his trigger. This is how bad shit happens.
Drop that gun.
Okay.
Macon Howard. Shots fired.
Okay, we need additional case. Shot fired at
Touch that fucking gun. Don't move. You fucking die.
control.
The one thing I've noticed out of these three officers is none of them have a weapon-mounted light. And that is something that I have noticed in multiple other NYPD videos with officers working at nighttime. I don't know if it is a budget issue where that agency is unable to afford to equip officers with weapon-mounted lights. If it's a, I don't want to say culture thing. If it's just a practice where they have not really adopted or embraced the use of weapon-mounted lights. But it's something I've noticed that there are many of them who do not use weapon-mounted lights. And that, in my opinion, is wrong. They should be using weapon-mounted lights, especially, if you're working nights, you definitely need a weapon-mounted light on your gun. I would even say that if you primarily work daytime, you should still have a weapon-mounted light on your gun. Because even if you work during the day when the sunlight's out, who's to say that you won't be going inside a building where there's not very many windows or going into a subterranean area and you need artificial light? I can kind of see why, daytime people would not be using a weapon-mounted light. However, if you work nights or you work a second shift kind of shift where you're partially working during the day, but then also it transitions in the nighttime, then you should definitely have a weapon-mounted light. None of them do, though. So, not much to say about, tactics and things. The only really true negative thing that I have to say is they respond to a shots fired call, and this guy gets out of the vehicle and approaches a guy who they suspect has been involved in a shooting, and this officer does not have his gun out and ready to use. And then, of course, this gives the bad guy the opportunity to turn around and point a gun at him and shoot and not be immediately fired upon. That's mistake number one. And then mistakes number 2 and 3 is finger discipline. So if your sights are not on a target and you have not made that conscious decision to shoot, your finger should not be on that trigger. Your finger should be indexed along the slide of the gun. When you use your trigger as a resting place for your finger, then you become complacent with that, and you may get away with it a few times, but eventually something's going to happen, and you're going to negligently discharge your gun, and that round hopefully buries itself into your dashboard or the ground. That's the best place, it can lodge itself. Worst case scenario is you shoot yourself or someone else, and it's going to be really bad if that happens. So keep your finger off that trigger until you've got sights on target and you've made the conscious decision to shoot. Other than that, flashlights or weapon-mounted lights or lack thereof, those are the only things I got to take issue in these videos, or in this video. Going back, so this is the officer's vest where he got popped. Had he not been wearing his vest, that's high into the back area. You got to think spine is going down right here in the middle. So, that could have gone into a lung, and, he potentially could have died from this hit if he had not been wearing a vest. With the bad guy's gun. There is an odd fascination with lasers with these bad guys. And just like the AR pistols and AK pistols, they get these fascinations from rap videos. Like if you watch rap videos, if they're not rocking an AK pistol or AR pistol, then they've got some other pistol with a laser on it. And these dudes are all about the beams. Like, obviously, this is a piece of shit attachment. One, it's a piece of shit gun. But two, this is a piece of shit attachment. This is obviously not anything from a reputable manufacturer. But that is one thing that you will notice with these street criminals is they have this weird and odd fascination with stupid shit like lasers. And in some regards, they're not that much different than actual gun people, untrained gun people, mind you. So that's it. It's an interesting correlation, I guess you could say. Whether you're a law-abiding citizen or you're not, the fact remains, if you're untrained and you don't know much about shit, then little stupid trinkets like this will fascinate you. If you find yourself fascinated by little lasers like this on pistols, then that is a sign that you need more training. Not much else to say about this. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.